Man, the joys of trying to do everything yourself. It's wondering what the heck you guys are doing back there behind the glass. Anyways, once again, broadcasting live from the WDCE studios out of the University of Richmond. You're listening to 90.1 FM from the most trusted puppet and media, reporting since Roswell. I'm Sam Newsman. 922 here on this day, the 4th day of February in the year 2023. Now, of course, we are broadcasting all over the internet right now, but one of the things that we are doing is that we are live here on Instagram. See everyone on Instagram, Triple D White Vegeta. I see Lone Dragon over here in the chat as well. And one of the other things that we have going on, we have TikTok, 3,500 followers. About 3,400 of those are in the last 14 days. Yeah, 14 days, like I said, 14. Yeah, it's been a lot. It's been a lot. Shout out to Cato as well. Shout out to Cato, Big M. Everyone, of course, here. Once again, it is Saturday morning, and I'm finally able to get everything up and running. Well, like I said, the door was frozen. You have to call the police department. They had to bring out the skeleton key that opens up all the doors around here. But I'm here. I'm finally here. And it seems like that there's some fuzziness going on in the monitor. Is that? Oh, it's because you guys didn't bring some equipment this morning. Well, what are you guys doing? What in the world are you guys doing back there? Anyways, leave it up to me. Leave it up to me to be able to carry the show, regardless of all of the other snafus that are going around, including just getting into the damn door. All right, but what's going on here? It is, like I said, it is a Saturday. It's been an interesting week. At least for me. It's always an interesting week for me. Had an appearance on a show. Maybe you've heard it. Lost connection. I see that. Lost connection. It seems like that the TikTok connection is not that great. Unable to access live. See, there it goes again. Well, at least we're over here on Instagram. So if we can't get the TikTok thing working, at least we do have Instagram over here. We have Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter over here. So, I guess the whole TikTok thing is a little bit broken when we're down here at the basement of the studio. Well, the studio's in a basement over in North Court, but it just seems to be broken. I'm not sure exactly why it's always messing up. It messed up a couple of times last week, but that's okay. That's okay. Have no fear. Sam is still here. But like I said, it's just one of those things where you have technical difficulties. So TikTok just stutters when the Chinese are stealing your data or data. Is it data or data? It doesn't really matter because there is a balloon overhead. There is a Chinese balloon overhead, and we'll get to that at the top of the next hour. Don't think that I'm not going to cover that. No, listen, I have a whole bunch of stuff to say about that. Cato saying, I sent you a gift via balloon. Everybody is talking about it, and it ruined the surprise. Oh, my goodness. My goodness. No, we will talk about the balloon. I have a whole bunch of stuff to talk about the balloon. I'm sure that TNT Nate's going to call in. He'll want to talk about the balloon as well. But the interesting thing about the balloon is that, now listen, I'm not going to get into it right now. It's not. Ash Bailey says that it's better than a balloon interest payment. Well, they did. You know what happened, right? They did increase the rates by about 0.25%, and then the stock market shot up. So of course that's what happened. Tony D. Humphrey, I see you down there. The DFS also in the chat. See everybody this morning. So how is a Chinese balloon different than any other balloon? Well, that's because this one is from was it Fang Fang from our dear friend the Congressman Eric Swalwell. You're familiar with Swalwell? Probably not, but oh man. No, listen, we'll get to the Chinese balloon at the top of next hour. I don't want to spoil that just yet. could just go on 3 whole hours about this balloon thing. No. But no. So yeah. So I was over on a podcast the other day. Well, it was a podcast. It's a show that's on YouTube. Shout out to Ryan, aka Laser Pants, and Jeremy from Authority Figure Studios for having me do a little segment. We were talking about, of course, Hasbro and the layoffs that Hasbro will be doing. So the layoffs that Hasbro is doing, there's about 1,000 layoffs, 1,000, yeah, 1,000 people that work for Hasbro are going to be cut. Yeah, they're going to be cut. And of course, Chris Cox, yes, that is his name. Yeah, no, I can say that because it's his real name. But yeah, so he's cutting and slashing things all over the place. But don't worry, Hasbro has stressed that with Cox in hand, they will continue to grow. They're going to be making more money. That's what they're saying. So they're going to save the company about 250 to 325 million over the course of the next couple of years, complaining that they are down 9% from last year, while they're making about 9 billion, 9.86 billion, I believe is the number. But so Cato says, read the news, Lone Dragon. Lone Dragon's like, I don't want to read the news. I'd rather just stay in my little hole and play with my toys. Well, of course, that's what you'd want to do. But you need to be up on the news as well, Lone. Tighten up. Tighten up. But yeah, so, or you could just wait for me to the top of next hour. And then I'll talk to you about the balloon. The balloon. We'll talk about that at the top of next hour. A couple of ways, of course, you can listen to us. One of the new things that, oh yeah, sorry, I didn't finish what I was talking about is being on the show. Loose But Complete. You familiar with Loose But Complete? Loose But Complete, part of the 3POA network. So, start of the 3POA network. And of course, I was over there. Let's see here. It says the thing was shot down. So, oh yeah, all right. So I saw that the Democrats didn't want to denounce socialism. Yeah, they said that was going to be against the party's interest. Hakeem Jeffries came out and said that as well. I know I'm all over the place. I'm all over the place this morning because it's been a wild and crazy week. But shout out to the guys over on Loose But Complete, a part of the 3POA network. We'll be doing a recurring news bit every couple of weeks whenever they show up. And but I want to thank them for, of course, allowing me to give people the news the only way that I can. The most trusted puppet in media knows how to do. Shout out to Mark Cosplay. I see Viper in the chat. Familiar with Cobra Viper 83? Cobra Viper 83. You know, the greatest part about it, well, he is a G.I. Joe savant. That's one thing. But you know, one of the other things he is that he actually is a skating savant. No, not ice skating, roller skating. Yeah. And what's amazing about it is that he has all these fancy moves, and the people locally didn't want him to be a part of their club. So you know what he does is he goes out and he makes his own club, his own skating group. And I forgot exactly what it was, but it has to do with the actual skates that he uses. Spending a lot of money on those skates, and then still having enough to buy ridiculous, cruddy G.I. Joe figures that he wishes that he would have probably taken his money and spent them on more skating stuff for his skates. But yes, Lone, the balloon is a news thing. It has something to do with Russia. Like I said, we'll talk about it at the top of next hour. Shout out to Big M. But yeah, but if you follow Cobra Viper 83, then you'll be able to see his reels, which are very popular, by the way. So popular that Instagram doesn't even want to alert him that the fact that people are watching them. Yeah, that's what Instagram does. Yeah, they don't tell you what's going on. In fact, they even lock you out of your account so much that you have to then go make a new account. So, but let's see here. What else is going on? Shout out to Here I see Hero over there, Skydro dot Walker. But that's what I was just saying. Skydro was locked out of his account and is having to post all over on Twitter and everywhere else. I'm buying helium balloons and a lawn chair and a BB gun to take out the Chinese balloon myself. Now, I did see where it looked like that something was shot down in Montana. But like I said, we're getting ahead of ourselves. We'll talk about the balloon at the beginning of the top of the hour. But what else happened this week? Oh, yes. McCarthy and Biden had a meeting about raising the debt ceiling. Don't you wish that you could just raise your own debt ceiling and just keep spending money? Well, that's what the government does. That is what the government does, and they get away with doing that. So, but yeah. So wait, what is? Lone Dragon's just so lost. Well, one day maybe he'll catch back up. Maybe he will catch back up. Catch up. Like mustard. No. Okay. So one of the things that I could tell you all about, maybe you have went downstairs already. You grabbed your bowl of cereal. You're about to start eating it, but I want you to stop doing that for a moment. Stop. Like, stop eating the cereal. Put the box back in the cupboard. I want to tell you why, because today is a National Ice Cream for Breakfast Day. That's right. Yes, National Ice Cream for Breakfast Day. Nothing like starting out your track towards diabetes in the morning than with some ice cream. But today it's absolutely legitimate. You can have ice cream for breakfast. Hell, you know what? If you're an adult, you can have ice cream for breakfast all the time and just laugh at the kids. But it is National Ice Cream for Breakfast Day. We did ended up having some ice cream on the way here. Stopped by the store and had ice cream here on the way to the station. So if all of a sudden I start buzzing out and maybe that's the reason why I'm all over the place, is because I'm all jacked up on sugar. All jacked up on sugar from ice cream because it is because you're allowed to have it today. So shout out to everybody out there. If you are able to go to your freezer and grab some ice cream, grab the ice cream, because like I said, it is National Ice Cream for Breakfast Day. So treat yourself. You should do it. How are you going to eat it? What do you mean, how am I going to eat it? You eat it with a spoon, right? Isn't that how you eat it? Or if it's a popsicle, you just sit there, you eat it. But yeah, like I said, National Ice Cream for Breakfast Day. And do yourself a favor. Have some sugary goodness this morning, and get your sugar rush in first thing. Hey, you know what? You might be taking a nap by the time we end the show at noon. But that's okay. That is okay. A couple of other things that we'll talk about, of course, throughout the course of the show. I believe that it was Schoolhouse Rock. Schoolhouse Rock. Familiar with Schoolhouse Rock? Schoolhouse Rock celebrated their 50th anniversary, I believe, this week. So we will have some Schoolhouse Rock intel. We'll talk about that a little later in the show, probably the top of the third hour, around 11 o'clock. We'll talk about Schoolhouse Rock. But let's see here. I'm allergic to milk, is what DFS says. Well, that's just depressing. That means you can't have any ice cream. So maybe you can go get a Slurpee. Does a Slurpee count? I know one of the people here with the crew, they were like, well, why didn't you just pick me up a Slurpee? Could have picked you up a Slurpee. So I want to see you eat the ice cream. Well, you know what? You're not going to be able to see me eat the ice cream. Not here on camera. Besides, that would be rude. It'd be rude for me to start just eating ice cream here while I'm trying to do a broadcast here on Saturday morning. Speaking of broadcast on Saturday mornings, you wonder exactly why we're here doing what we do on Saturday morning. It's because Saturday mornings was a magical time. It's a magical time when you would, like I said, wake up and go down and grab a bowl of cereal and sit in front of the TV for hours on end, and of course watch cartoons. But one of the interesting things is that with cartoons, you're probably familiar with a lot of them: G.I. Joe, Transformers, He-Man. there's a lot of cartoons out there, but there's a lot of cartoons out there that you might have never heard about. Which is why, let me see. I can grab the phone over here. Is the phone? Let's see. And then there goes the feed again. There we go. Everything is all messed up. It's all messed up this morning. I'm not exactly sure what the deal is. Oh, it's the weather. That's right. It's the weather. It is the weather. But my feedback, there it is. I keep trying to mess with this thing. There we go. All right. So the phones are up. Phones are up. And we're all of a sudden we're waiting for Deep Cut Dave to show up because Deep Cut Dave is going to call in, just like every. Let's see. Sam, you need to do a show with an aluminum foil hat. That's a. I might have to sit there and look into that. I hear that aluminum foil though is hard to come by these days. Why? Is because everybody was correct who thought that there was once a time when people who wore tinfoil hats thought they were crazy, and then the next thing you know, everything they've been saying over the last couple of years is starting to come true. So it's the weather balloon sending the radio waves to the brain. Well, it's something that's sending something because all of a sudden, the feed and the monitors are just kicking in and out. But that's okay. That is okay. But anyways, we're waiting for Deep Cut Dave to call in to see because we do have a couple of interesting cartoons that that he did select for this Saturday. One of the other things that he mentioned was the whole Royal Rumble thing. Maybe so. I think maybe Dave is here. Let's see if we can get Dave here and in on the phone. So Dave, are you there? Barely again. It's always barely, but I'm glad that you are here on Saturday morning. Hope you've had a wonderful. Did you have a great week?
I had a week.
Once again, a week. But you know what? One of the things that you did do is that you did correctly predict who would win the Royal Rumble. So last week you were here and you gave us some predictions, and you were correct on both of them. Would you remind the listeners exactly who you selected and who actually won?
Well, my top picks, for the men's Royal Rumble was Cody Rhodes. And he came in, I think, 30?
Yeah, he was the last entrance.
Yeah. Never a good sign on that.
Never a good sign, or else they were just really trying to make sure they didn't tear his pec again.
Yeah, apparently he is back on the injured list. He blew out his eardrums.
He blew out his eardrums? What?
Yeah. He says, it was the best night. I couldn't hear a thing. It's like, Cody, you're not very good at this.
You know what they call that? They call that in video gaming. They call them squishy. Squishy. It's like a cloth wear. As someone who wears cloth, they're squishy. They need to stay back behind the group because they can get one-shotted. So he's a little squishy. But Cody Rhodes wins the men's Royal Rumble, and who won the women's Royal Rumble?
Rhea Ripley.
Now, if I'm not mistaken,
she came in at number 1.
Okay, so that goes back to the whole. What was it? Didn't Stone Cold win one year when he was number 1? I think Ric Flair won one year.
I think so, yeah.
Ric Flair won when he was number 2. Ric Flair was the first one. He did it as number 2, and he did it the whole time. But now, if once again, if I'm not mistaken, Rhea Ripley, didn't she get injured too?
I didn't hear that.
No, I believe she did. I believe she dislocated her knee. She has knee issues. So she has knee issues. So she did end up messing up her knee a little bit. I don't know if she's on the injured reserve list, but I'm sure that they're probably going to have her be a little bit gingerly on the knee, take care of the knee because they don't want to mess anything up when it comes to her future things. Now, another interesting aspect is that Sami Zayn and the Bloodline seems to be a little bit of a snafu there. Last night on SmackDown, I saw where it seems that the Bloodline is just falling apart.
Yeah, it looks like Sami's going to challenge Roman Reigns at Elimination Chamber later this month.
And of course, that's just a filler match. Nothing's really going to happen there. It's going to be interesting to see when Kevin Owens comes back, and I guess he's going to then come and save Sami Zayn. If I'm probably going to put my wrestling cap on to see what happens with that. But when is the next pay per view?
The next pay-per-view, I believe, actually, it might be tonight.
Oh, there's one tonight. Is it the NXT one?
NXT Vengeance Day, yes.
Gotcha. Well, I have no idea who the heck is in NXT right now, so I guess I'm a terrible wrestling fan for that. But anyways, maybe I'll throw it up on the TV.
Well, actually, there's NXT Vengeance Day tonight. There's Stardom. Major League Wrestling is having a super fight. And there's also some tournament shows from New Japan and AAA.
Listen to you. Look at you. You're this whole wrestling encyclopedia of knowledge. So it's between your wrestling knowledge and your cartoon knowledge. I tell you what, you're like a walking library of information. So. Well, so here you go. I have a couple of cartoon themes that you sent over, and one of the first ones is this Pac-Man season 2 from 1983. Tell us about Pac-Man from 1983 season 2. Why is this different from season 1?
Well, season 1, he was part of that block. It was Pac-Man, Little Rascals, and Richie Rich. Well, Pac-Man was getting such good ratings, they figured, you know what? Let's just put him in his own slot. So they had paired him up with Rubik's The Amazing Cube, but they gave him his own theme song. There wasn't a joint theme for both. Essentially, it was his own little half-hour block. Also, the difference is apparently, despite all the great ratings, your standards and practices had to butt in. It's like, oh, Pac-Man is chopping; it's too violent. You got to cut that out.
Well, that's what Pac-Man does. He eats little nuggets and then eventually chases Ghost and eats Ghost too. So I guess he's not eating Ghost in this series?
Not as much. They also introduced 2 new characters, Super Pac and PJ, because apparently what Pac-Man desperately needed was the Fonz.
Everybody needs a Fonz in their life. So everybody needs that.
Well, he came across more as a Poochie than a Fonz.
Right. That's so I see. I'm looking at the picture right now. It shows a picture of a dog and a cat, a kid. I guess is that Ms. Pac-Man over there that's next to him? Is that who that is?
Yes, I think they also gave him I think they also gave him a dog and a cat too. So
yeah, so I see a dog and a cat. So Pac-Man has a whole family, and then I guess he's got a baby as well, baby Pac-Man. So but it's Pac-Man. It sounds a little bit more non-inclusive with the whole man thing. So I don't know if it's going to be able to. I don't know if that would fly with today. So it should be Pac person. Am I not correct about that?
Well, I don't know. This is Pac-Man. This is Pac-Baby.
Okay, so man is like similar.
Well, that's his name.
Yeah, that's right. Well, like Sam Newsman. Sam Newsman. Oh yeah, okay. I see what they're doing there. I see what they're doing. So another thing that we have over here is Rubik, the Amazing Cube cartoon. So there's a you mean like is this like the Rubik Cube? Like the toy?
Yes, it was based on the Rubik's Cube. And like I said, that was technically paired up. The official name of the block was the Pac-Man Rubik's Cube Amazing Hour. But unofficially, the shows were like basically 2 separate things. They weren't connected. There was no overlining theme song, 2 separate things. But yeah, Pac-Man was done by Hanna-Barbera, and that lasted 44 episodes, seasons 1 and 2. And Rubik's, well, that only lasted 13 episodes, and that was done by Ruby Spears. Yes, it was based on the Rubik's Cube, the #1 toy of 1980. And really kind of a distressing show, if you think about it. It's like these kids find a Rubik's Cube. It's like they solve it, and it grows a face.
Yeah, I'm looking at the face of the Rubik Cube. It looks pretty creepy now that I'm looking at it. What's that? What's the face all about?
I know. It's like he has a tongue. I mean, Why does he have a tongue?
It's pretty creeptastic. Pretty creeptastic.
Like, how do his insides even work?
What all that matters is they got all the colors right on each side. So that's all. That's the thing that
Yeah,
matters.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, oh, if you solve the puzzle, it'll grow a face. Like, wouldn't that be a good incentive not to solve it?
Yeah, just keep it on your shelf, like with it all mixed up. So, but 13.
Well, and of course, the show, it's like, yes, we solved it. Rubik's can solve anything. Oh no, he has been slightly touched, and now the thing's been jumbled up.
So
Okay,
so so
it seems
so
like a bad design flaw.
so each time he gets touched, he ends up getting the colors mixed up again.
Right. And the kids have to solve it, while there's, bandits chasing them or whatever. Which is like, yeah, they would have killed me like in the first episode because, like, yeah, I'm not solving this.
I'm done. Yeah, well, especially if it's going to grow a face, which would creep me out.
And that's another problem. Like, okay, so like the cube gets jumbled, the face disappears. Where does it go?
It goes somewhere, but I'll tell you where it doesn't go. It doesn't go to Mars, like it seems like these tattooed teenage alien fighters from Beverly Hills. What? So hold on, like so now, so this is your deep cut. This is your deep cut of the week. Tattooed teenage alien fighters from Beverly Hills. Like, I mean, that's just a mouthful right there. So can you, so talk to us about the tattooed teenage alien fighters from Beverly Hills.
Oh Lord, it's the show that literally no one can remember. I mean, it's almost like a creepypasta. It's like, no, this didn't exist. This is just some sort of collective unconsciousness that's tricked us.
Part of the Mandela effect, I guess. Yeah, it comes from another dimension. So what year did this come out, and how many episodes were in the series?
Well, it was made by those fine folks at DIC. Do it cheap.
Do it cheap.
From 94 to 95, 40 episodes. And here's the thing: it was so cheap they could only afford 10 monster suits.
Only 10 monster suits. So there's
so they fought every monster 4 times.
Well, I mean, they get their money's worth out of it.
Yeah, the only name actors were Glenn Shaddux and Dave Landers. It's like, yeah, they could. Like they couldn't afford Lenny, but they could afford Squiggy.
Well, who's the production company that made this monstrosity?
Like I said, DIC.
Well, so it was just themselves. So it was all done in house.
I think so.
Now I think I looked briefly over it. Now it was live action. It was a live action show, and how many episodes did you say again?
40.
40 episodes. So that's wow. That's something else. So it's interesting because I was sitting there thinking about tattooed teenage alien fighters from Beverly Hills. Why is it that all the cool kids are from Beverly Hills? That's what I want to know. So now you did mention something about Sword and Planet shows. What's you want to chat about Sword and Planet shows? What Sword and Planet shows were you wanting to mention?
Well, Sword and Planet. Well, I just finished Warrior of Larn by Gardner F. Fox.
What's that all about?
Well, basically, it's I'd say a ripoff on John Carter, really.
Ah, John Carter. I'm familiar with the John Carter stuff.
Yeah, Warrior of Larn. Basically, this guy, Alan Morgan, is like, oh, I don't fit in. I've never, Oh, he also hears a voice, by the way. So yeah, he grows up, gets a job, he's on vacation, and then he wakes up naked on an alien planet, as you do.
Yeah, typical standard.
Yeah, it turns out that voice he's been hearing, it is real, and it has effectively kidnapped him. But it takes him to the planet Larn, and it's like, yeah, sorry, look, I really need you to do a couple of things for me. But like, it doesn't talk to him again for the rest of the book until like the very end, where he's about to rescue someone. It was like now you decide to talk to him.
That seems very interesting. How many episodes was that?
That
Oh, okay. 2 books. 2 books.
Like I said, I mean, it's not bad, but it's just kind of basic. It's like, oh, he meets a princess, they fall in love, and of course she gets kidnapped. He's going to rescue her totally, but then the voice, pulls him away again. Like, wow, you have got the worst timing.
Oh man, it's ridiculous. Now, of course, I'm not going to have enough time to play this this week. I might see if I can bump it over. But you've sent me this "Land of a Thousand Dances" from the Wrestlers, the wrestling album. They made a couple of different wrestling albums. Now, this is not a wrestling theme where someone walks down the aisle. This is something where they all get together and do something and sing. Correct?
Yeah, that was actually part of the Rock Wrestling Connection.
Oh, you mean like the cartoon, the rockin'? Is that the cartoon? Like the old cartoon? Hulk Hogan's rockin' wrestling. Hulk Hogan's rockin' wrestling, I think.
Yeah, this was Cyndi Lauper, David Wolf. They collaborated with the WWE now.
Right.
And they just did a collection of songs.
Well, I do have that. I have that queued up for next week because I think I do have. But I wanted to just get your thoughts on that real quick, Dave. Any other interesting things going on in Dave Land? I believe that you do have you do have an appearance coming up. I believe next month at a convention.
Bonsai Con, yes.
All right. Well, we'll talk about that a little bit more the closer that we get to it. Specifically, we'll set some time because I believe that you mentioned that you are doing a panel on Lupin the Third,
Yes, I am.
which is my favorite. So I'm very excited, and we'll do some deep diving into that on another show. Dave, I want you to have a fantastic weekend. I got these cartoon themes queued up: Pac-Man, Rubik, and then Tattooed Teenage Alien Fighters from Beverly Hills. And I want to thank you, of course, for calling into the show. We look forward to hearing from you next week with some more deep cuts. And you have a fantastic weekend, Dave.
Thanks, man.
Yep. Once again, everybody, that is Deep Cut Dave coming in hot with the deep cuts. Now, of course, you guys can always follow me at Sam Newsman on Instagram, at Sam Newsman on Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, also on Twitch. I don't have anything really going on Twitch right now, but follow us all over the internet. And of course, we'll be back here in just a few moments, and we're going to be talking about something that everybody wants us to talk about, and that is Chinese spy balloons. That's right, Chinese spy balloons. We'll be talking about that here on the other side of this music break at the top of the hour, and probably have TNT Nate give us a call. Because I'm sure that he has a lot to say about this. So thanks, everybody, of course, for down there in the chat. Like I said, keep your phones locked in. We'll be back here in just a few moments. Everybody here on Facebook, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. TikTok's not working, but that's okay. We are 3,500 deep in TikTok, and we'll probably be doing a TikTok live later this afternoon where we just talk nothing about it, but nothing. Can't even talk right. Well, it's the ice cream. Once again, it is National Ice Cream for Breakfast Day, so you're able to eat ice cream. But we'll be back here in just a few moments here on the other side of the break, here on the only radio show dedicated to the magic and nostalgia of Saturday morning, hosted by me, a real puppet. From the most trusted puppet in media, reporting since Roswell, I'm Sam Newsman, and this is Saturday Morning.
Pac-Man.